let's face it, the AI gold rush is in full swing. Every single company is out there waving an AI flag. But you gotta wonder, how do you tell the real game changers from all the hype? Well, to cut through that noise, we're gonna dig into a new playbook from venture capitalist Sarah Guo. She's put together a framework for spotting real value in what is a pretty chaotic, but also very, very exciting new era.
Okay, so this is really the core idea we have to start with. What Sarah Guo is arguing here is that the old maps, the playbooks that VCs and founders have been using for years, they're kind of useless now. AI isn't just another feature you tack onto an app. It is a completely new landscape, and it comes with a whole new set of rules.
All right, so if the old rules are out the window, what are the new ones? How do you actually spot a company that's truly built to win in this new AI world? Let's break down Go's framework and figure it out. First things first, we need a really clear definition. What does it actually mean for a company to be AI native? This is all about separating the stuff that's truly transformational from the stuff that's, well, just a small step forward. Here's what AI native really means, and it's important. It's not about just slapping a chatbot onto an old product. No. It is about fundamentally rethinking how an entire job gets done. It's all about being non-incremental. We're not talking about making something 10% more efficient. We are talking about building something that was literally impossible before. And this gives us a really simple test to spot the difference. On one side, you've got AI washing, a small efficiency gain, a little tweak to how things already work. And the problem with that? Any big established company can do that tomorrow. But on the other side, you have AI native. And the easiest tell, as Guo calls it, is the ambition. They are trying to automate or replace a huge piece of work, something incumbents are often just too slow or, frankly, too scared to even try. And this is exactly where those ambitious companies are finding their edge. They're either going after markets that VCs used to kind of ignore, like legal tech with a company called Harvey, or they're creating completely new categories out of thin air, like HeyGen is doing with personalized video. I mean, these weren't seen as hot software markets before, but AI just completely changed the entire equation. All this ambition leads us directly to the next huge idea, this massive opportunity gap. And we're talking about the huge space between what AI can do in a lab somewhere and what's actually being used out here in the real world. We've all seen them, right? Those mind-blowing demos online that just look like magic. But then comes the really hard part, getting actual people and whole companies to change the way they work. Guo's framework just flips this whole idea on its head. This challenge isn't a problem. It's the central business opportunity. And in her own words, solving this last-mile problem is like half the opportunity for startups. It's all about building the tools, the user experience, and the trust that actually gets this powerful technology out of the research lab and into someone's daily workflow. That's where the value is.
Now, get this. Guo believes that if all AI research just stopped today, no new models, no more breakthroughs, nothing, we would still have a 20-year runway of work just applying the technology we already have to the economy. Just think about the sheer scale of that opportunity. It's massive.
Okay, so the opportunity is clearly huge. But let's be honest, the field is also incredibly chaotic. The core assumptions seem to change every few weeks. So how on earth do you invest or build for the long term when everything is so uncertain? The whiplash is real, right? The main story is just constantly shifting. One minute, we're all thinking, okay, scaling has hit a wall. The next, a new paper drops that shows training costs can absolutely plummet. And today, the whole conversation has shifted to reasoning. How can you possibly make a 5-year bet when the basic rules change every 5 weeks? In an environment like this, you need a totally different strategy. And Gu's approach has 2 parts. First, you have to focus on what she calls invariant, the durable human and business problems that don't really change. And second, you bet on the people. You find the founders who are obsessed with the frontier and have the guts to tell their team, scrap it all. We have to rewrite everything because the world just changed. You're not just betting on a product, you're betting on hyper-adaptability. And that hyper-adaptability is absolutely crucial.
because it all leads to a really high-stakes endgame. With so much money, so much talent flooding into this space, what does the competitive field actually look like? Guo describes the current market as a high-stakes game of musical chairs. The potential prizes, owning the next-gen search engine or the dominant platform for every business, are unbelievably huge. But there just aren't enough chairs for everyone who's playing.
Look, the stakes in this game are incredibly binary. A lot of the capital being poured in right now is going to be lost on the wrong bets. That's just a fact. But the markets are so massive that if you back the right horse, the payoff is going to be so enormous that it justifies all the other risks combined.
But for real though, can a startup really compete with giants like OpenAI or Google? Well, according to Guo, the answer is absolutely yes. Because as powerful as those big labs are, at the end of the day, they're still just companies. They're actually small organizations with finite resources. They simply cannot own and perfect every single possible use case for every single industry. And that leaves a massive opening for startups to cover that last mile and build incredibly valuable businesses. So, if the big labs can't do it all, where are the next trillion-dollar businesses going to come from? Armed with this new playbook, we can start to see the field a lot more clearly. The winners aren't going to be many versions of OpenAI. No way. They will be the ones who are rethinking entire industries, the ones who are solving that last mile problem, and the ones showing an ambition that the big incumbents just can't match. The only question left is, where are they going to pop up first?